regarding our wonderful veterans. Give it up for Nate Boyer and Jay Glazer. What's up?
Hey.
How you doing? How you doing? How are you? How you?
Yeah, we're doing the elbows.
I'm not doing elbows.
Jay.
You're giving full love. That's it.
Last night, you guys did an amazing thing. You launched the New York chapter of Merging Vets and Players, also known as MVP. If the viewers at home don't know what MVP is, please let them know what this organization is.
Right here, MVP, Merging Veteran Players. We're taking former combat vets in the transition. We're merging them together with former NFL players when it started, but now it's baseball. Like John Franco came last night. Right. It's fighting. It's hockey. It's basketball. It's every sport. And we're just trying to remind our vets and our athletes that their greatness wasn't the uniform, but what's behind the rib cage. Like you, Nate, playing in the NFL, that's not who you are.
Right.
What's behind your rib cage that got you to beat out millions and millions and millions of people to play in the NFL? That's who you are. That doesn't leave when suddenly the uniform comes off. But too many of our NFL players think that. And the transition, look, transition sucks.
Yeah.
Whether you're a football player or a fighter or in the military. So we're there to show you with open arms, you got a new team. We're just trying to, you lose that locker room, we're trying to recreate that locker room again. And this is our fifth city we're doing that in now.
So it's a sense of community where veterans and is it only professional athletes, or it could be...
And Olympians also, but look, both, they look up to each other, right? He went through both transitions.
Yep.
We got, Nate came into my gym a few years ago saying, hey, I know you're the guy I want to see if I want to play in the NFL. And I'm like, who are you? He's like, I'm a senior at Texas. I'm like, you got gray in your beard. How are you a senior at Texas? And I look up his story about him going back and forth overseas and playing at Texas. I literally said to him, I look at his story, I said, I see what you've done, but I don't know what you can't do. So let's go walk this walk together. And we get him signed by the Seahawks. Funny story. Seahawks, Pete Carroll's like, Jay, what are you making me do? I'm like, Pete, this is who you want on your team. As the last guy on your roster, you want a guy like Nate Boyer, who's a Green Beret, who's walked on a Texan football team. He goes, no, I understand that, but what if I have to cut him? And I said, then cut him. He goes, I'm not going to have that guy shoot me from a mile out. I go, not my problem, Pete.
Well, Nate, you've been on the show before. You have an amazing story. You touched on it a little bit, Jay, the abridged version. Green Beret, tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. You went to Texas Longhorns, Seahawks. So the list goes on. You've been through it. You've been through the journey. Do you think that programs like this are important to both sides of it? You sit on both sides of the spectrum as a player and a guy that has served this country proudly.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I was in the military first and did that for about 5 years and then went back to college. And while I was in college, I was still serving. And so I was going overseas every summer. I was going back to Afghanistan. And I never slowed down. Like that operation tempo was really, really high, right? And then military ended. I had that brief stint with the Seahawks, thank you. Yeah. And that was over, and then all of a sudden, it's like I hadn't even thought about it before, but now I like don't have an identity, or I felt like I didn't. You know, I didn't have a uniform anymore. I don't really have a team. I got like my buddies, and I just thought, well, maybe I'll just go back in the military because that's where I feel comfortable. It was almost like instead of post-traumatic stress, it was that fear of lack of traumatic stress. You know what I mean?
It's like when players, they go back to coaching. It's like, this is all I know.
Something.
It's all I can do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and we kind of did go into coaching in a sense, but it was like a different type, you know what I mean? And it was tough, like, and it still is. It's like every day there's something, you know what I mean? It's something I miss, right? But MVP has a semblance of that every day. And like you said, it's guys building the guys up from the inside out, and the girls. I mean, everybody. And just that understanding that combat obviously is not the same as playing a sport, right? Yep. But that team, having a man or woman on your left and right that you're fighting for, you know, across that ball or whatever it is in your sport, and you've got that camaraderie and brotherhood and locker room and all those things, and then it's just like gone, and you're just like, what do I do now? Who am I? And this is what you do.
Awesome.
And I think our veterans, what's going to be great about our group is we're the ones, we're talking about mental health now. You guys have known me for a while, so you all know I'm crazy. Now you're able to talk about his mental health now. Oh, wow, it's, you know.
Right.
But when you have depression and when you have anxiety, the best way for really to kind of cut through the gray, because I always live in the gray, I never don't.
Right.
And it sucks. The best way is to be of service to other people.
That's right.
You know, so for us, all of a sudden, I have a mission. I have a way to kind of get through my own depression and anxieties by building up this new team. And there are, you know, we have 22 veterans a day that are committing suicide. 22 a day. Think about that. Okay, we have one unit in our group, a couple guys in there from a unit called the 2-7, which has lost 45, one team to suicide. That's not okay. That is not okay.
Right.
Our MVPers, over half of our MVPers and it's in the thousands, have attempted suicide before us. Since joining our team, the number is 0.
Good.
Wow.
We have not lost one, not a single one. And now we're telling people, don't be one.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, just the way we're kind of coaching it together, being beholden to somebody else again. But also, the biggest thing also, when I'm going through, when the roommates in my head are starting to talk, I have a team that I can
have
call.
somebody.
Like, my fight team is gone. It's the Chuck Liddells and Randy Couture's and all the old guys. We started kind of going. And then, like, for me, a cage is comfortable.
Right.
And TV is comfortable. My Fox NFL Sunday guys, it's great.
Right.
Other than that, the world's a scary place for me.
Right.
So now I build this new team where I have 6 or 7 people that I'm really close with that are a bunch of
Weekly
you know
meetings?
what?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so it's every single week. We do like a half-hour workout just to get that burn again. But we have people with amputees, wheelchairs, complete paralysis, or go Kirstie Ennis, who got the ESPY this year, the Pat Tillman Award, with 45 surgeries, amputation, people like that. But after, it's how we coach each other up. It's turn around to these veterans, and when they come back, them going, oh, I'm different. No, you're different.
Right.
Different is good. Different leads to success.
Yeah.
Right? And also, like, listen, you have gotten to this level here because you used what got you into the NFL
That's right.
in your next step. Right? Someone needs to teach you that. Someone needs to teach everybody that you got it in, you got the magic. It wasn't just the uniform that gave you the magic.
Right.
So let's have other people who are great at what they did, who did incredible things, coach you up in this transition. We could do it together.
No doubt.
Guys, I have to jump in here because I get a little emotional thinking about it. My fiance is a combat veteran.
Oh, nice.
So the things you guys do, these are things we talk about in our household. On a daily basis. It's very real, and it's so important. And there are so many advocates and allies for this throughout the NFL, throughout the league. Players that I've spoken to, GMs, coaches, and one of the bigger advocates as well within the league is Commissioner Goodell. He donated $175,000 to help launch this new chapter. So what does this commitment from the league and from the commissioner and from so many people that you meet for the veterans, including the initiatives like Salute to Service and all the things that go on throughout the league?
He actually, Roger did it himself because he came to a meeting that we had in New York, a pop-up, and we have, again, our guys, we said in the 2-7, they just lost their 41st, 42nd, and 43rd to suicide. And again, we coach each other up in any way we possibly can. So we turn around those guys, and I said, how many of you lost? And they lost 72 of their teammates to suicide in battle. So I said, as much as it sucks, it's terrible, think of how strong you have to be to withstand the loss of 72 of your brothers. Think about that strength. I said, I couldn't do it. I turned to Roger, I said, could you do it? Roger was like, you know, he's like, I'll tear it up. And he was like,
to still be here, strong.
And to still, you got to use, we have a saying, and I can't say it here, basically, we're messed up, but we're good with our messed upness.
Right, I hear you. I know what you're saying.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Are you
I've
sure?
heard it
I know
many,
exactly
many times.
because I identify with that.
Yes, damn right.
exactly what you're
But
saying.
we have to use our messed upness, not to be damaged, but to empower us.
Yeah.
So every little thing, we have a guy, Elliot Ruiz, and Roger's gotten close to all these people. The playoff game, the Cowboys against the Rams, he came out there to the playoff game.
Yeah.
He heard that Andrew Whitworth, who's one of our board members, who lost his best friend to battle.
Is that right?
Yeah, his best friend that he grew up
college,
with.
yeah.
From growing up, college, roommate, everything. He heard that Andrew brought like 15 of them to the playoff game. Roger said, where are they? And they were up in the upper deck. He went up there and spent 45 minutes with them. Pre-game, first quarter, like he just gravitates, but he could see it. Like, we're going to save players, we're going to save these veterans, and we're going to be the ambassadors. Like, I know in my heart, I know that we will make a dent in the suicide rate in this country.
No doubt.
And the way we coach it, and the way we're able to tell people and put it out there and show people the damage they cause when they're short-sighted and they put a revolver.
I think
in their mouth.
what the league and the players need to understand is, like, they belong in that room with us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously, never comparing battle to playing a sport, but like those guys, those games, like, we look forward to that when we're deployed. You know what I mean? Whether it's a Super Bowl or just another game
Week
on
3,
Sunday,
Thursday night
whatever,
game,
it doesn't matter. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the toughest nights because they don't have games. You know? But seriously, we get back from a mission like 5 in the morning and we're watching football. Like, it's an escape for us, but those guys are also our heroes. You know what I mean? So when we get to meet them and spend time with them, we're like, oh my gosh, we're in awe.
Yeah.
But then when we sit down and we're vulnerable and talk about it and realize, man, this guy who I thought, there's no way he's struggling with stuff. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he's just like me. He has the same struggles I have. So I feel connected. I feel like I belong in the room with those people. And I find that self-worth again, you know, and we just understand that everybody hurts. You guys were talking about it a little bit ago with Jalen.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Merging vets and players, the New York chapter, guys, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for jumping on here. Anyone at home, please look into this. Jay, Nate, thank you so much.
Players and vets, go to our website, please. Check us out. We just want to help you, man. We just want to grow our team.